Hello and welcome to another episode of the DC Alliance podcast. Uh, we have a guest today that just made my entire night. This is great. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right into this. Just because Snell decided to jump right into this last week without me, decided to not even start like he couldn't even wait. He had to start the show without me with that god awful audio from his phone blaring into his speaker or his microphone. My gosh. Anyway, so Snell, of course, has issued a challenge trivia over at the charity stream November 6th at the Geekverse YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are there. We're going to be doing trivia. There was a host last year that was I will say probably the best questions out of the night, to be completely honest. I mean, maybe a little biased with being a DC host, but last year's DC host for trivia was Scott. Scott from the DC Squadcast. Of course, this year, Travis, my own co-host, is going to be the DC host for trivia night.
Big shoes to fill. Big shoes.
You guys are just swapping places. Scott, I this is a very funny situation that we have gone through with Snell. There was once a little hashtag that he was once trying to push on us. This whole thing with Scott fears Snell or whatever it was. I like it.
Oh, we got to clip that reaction. We got to clip that reaction.
This goes back.
He got jokes.
This goes a couple months back. Scott, I'm so glad that. Well, I guess that I should go ahead and announce it now. Scott is going to be a ranger on the trivia night.
The helmet wasn't a giveaway.
The helmet was awesome.
It's morphin time, guys.
Yes,
it's morphin time.
Yes, it is. But there.
I also have some additional news, though.
Oh,
ooh!
No ranger can go into battle without his trusty Zord. So Tim will also be joining the Rangers for this trivia battle, and those poor wolves. Those little wolves, little puppies, don't have a chance.
That is awesome.
He's not bringing in a Zord. He's bringing in the Megazord.
Yes. That is going to be awesome.
Yes.
The duo from DC. It's DC
Film Squad. No, DC Squadcast.
DC Squadcast now. I know that there has been a couple changes. Just wanted to make sure I got it right. So DC Squadcast hosts are going to be on Team Ranger for November 6th. Scott, thank you so much for jumping on to make this announcement. I want to thank, of course, you for probably purchasing that for your son, but it is just awesome that you even have that. So
he was a Red Dino Fury Ranger for Halloween yesterday.
What can I say? That is so cool.
Perfect timing.
So cool.
So you guys enjoy your show. Thank you so much. I can't wait to kick the dude bro's butt. It's gonna be
Saturday, Scott.
Awesome.
Bye,
see
guys.
All right.
What a way to start the show, Clay.
Yes, that was great. That was
I also
awesome.
want to say, your announcement, quick and to the point, not drawn out at all.
No. See, because again, I'm sorry, Wolves, but your leader is just full of himself. It's not a team effort for him. It is all about him. And I know I was quick to say that I don't necessarily need a team. That was more so encouraging of like, hey, if we could go 1-1 again with Snell, I know I would kick his ass. But he wants the backup. So
I kind of took it as I could take on your whole team by myself. But, I thanks for the clarification. I kind of understand what you're saying now, yeah. Just what listeners may have thought.
But if he wants a team, then I want a team as well. So adding Tim to that team is gonna be great. I am so happy Of course, you are in charge of the DC questions. I'm going to leave it at that
They have
because
been locked in. They were finalized today. There was some discussion. There was a panel of secret, sworn to death judges that went over the questions. There was this discussion with another trivia master, we'll say, and I may have even thought that I might have been going too easy on the contestants, because we don't want that. We don't want to go from a like challenging trivia to a easy in the bag. We don't have to think about it for 2 seconds trivia.
oh,
So
I
suffice to
am
say, bring your A game, DC
I
fans.
am
But
I am really looking forward to your questions. I know they will be challenging. And we'll just leave it at that because I have faith that everybody will play fair, Snell, and we will have a good match. So let's go ahead and jump into the network plugs. That kind of got sidetracked. But of course, we are a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network. We have 8 different shows going across 7 different days. We start off the week, of course, on Sundays with a slice of film with Katie. Mondays, we have switching bi-weekly World's Finest True Believers and Ranger Alliance. There was a new episode of Ranger Alliance today, as of when we are recording this. So go check that out. It is episodes 10, 11, and 12. Episode 12 is actually a part 1. So we leave it on a cliffhanger with Green No More. When Tommy loses his powers of the Green Ranger. Really cool cliffhanger, I will admit. And these episodes, me and Jake, because Jake finally came back. He is last in the rotation, so it always
on his
feels
way
like
back to the morphing grid.
I know it feels so long until I finally get to see his face again every single time we talk. But we had to admit this writing has gotten a lot better. It is still 90s writing and still a little cheesy. It's still a little silly. It still needs a lot of work. But it is a lot better than what season 1 was for Mighty Morphin. So we're looking forward to the rest of the season, looking forward to that part 2 of Green No More. So on Tuesdays, of course, is DC Alliance. Of course, we are live on Monday nights. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you are subscribed to the Geekverse YouTube channel. Put your notifications to all so that way you can know every single time we go live for all of your geek needs. Of course, the audio drops on Tuesday. Like I said, Wednesday is superhero discussions where surprisingly, me and Heinz are actually talking about Young Justice, a much better DC show than what we had been going through for so long this past summer.
Special announcement as well. On Wednesday this week, there will be 2 for the price of 1. There will be an episode with myself and Clay talking about Young Justice, but also I finally did it. After getting through watching a couple really good animated movies, I was finally able to go back. I joined Joe from Walk Through the Multiverse, and we talked about Injustice. It's in the can.
Oh, man.
It's done. It was tough, Clay. It was tough.
I have to listen to it. I still haven't watched the movie. I'm still
hoping
debating.
that I could watch an episode of Titans to get away from the injustice. That'll just that saves everything to you right there.
I am still debating on whether I want to watch that movie. Because I've heard all the things from you. I've heard all the things from some of our other hosts here on the Geek Ultimate Alliance, and then even my new partner Scott from DC Squadcast did a small non-spoilerish review, and he was even kind of on the same level as you guys. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a great movie to watch, so I may just skip it and listen to the hilarious review from you guys.
I will say, listen to the end, especially where we talk about our rankings, our ratings for the movie, because I could understand mine. I was kind of shocked with Joe. I thought, Joe's like a big old cuddly teddy bear.
I will admit, if you know Joe, so Joe of course has his other podcast, Comic Book Rundown. He has the small screen rundowns and things like that, the movie rundowns or whatever. They have been going, they've watched a lot of crap movies recently. So he, like, compared to the other movies that he has watched, and then there's Injustice, that I could probably see why there's some leeway there.
Well, that's right. That's what I would think, because I've had him on superhero discussions to do some Batman the Animated Series episodes, and Joel, like, you're coming on, you're doing 3, you're not judging him from the 120 that are done or whatever. So you're, this was good, this was enjoyable kind of deal. I'll just leave it at that. I will that a little bit more intrigue, but yeah, and that's 2 of those episodes are coming out on Wednesday, because can't hold Young Justice because we have another episode coming out on Thursday. So myself and Clay will get together again this weekend and talk about that, especially after the last episode. Ooh, check that out, listeners, because that was
guys, we won't discuss it here because we won't spoil anything, but man, that was such a great episode. But on Wednesday nights is Star Wars Alliance. Of course, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live on Geekverse YouTube channel. Last episode, we reviewed Ronin, which was the adaptation and continuation to the first episode of Star Wars Visions, which was The Duel. So that black and white episode, they actually did an entire novelization and continuation of that story. It is amazing. They did some really cool things with it. Of course, this is just the idea of Star Wars and a completely different universe, and it worked great. It's a very
idea.
Go
I
ahead.
have an idea of what you're going to be talking about this week, though. Trailer that just dropped today.
We will be talking about the Boba Fett.
I'm
Boba
very
Fett.
interested to hear both of your opinions on that trailer. I could not be more interested about that, because
it's called the official trailer, but it does feel like a little bit of a teaser. That's a little bit of a hint of where I'm going at as far as my thoughts on it.
Save it.
I'll be
in the live chat, so save it.
But also, what we will be reviewing this week on Star Wars Alliance is the volume number 1 of the comic book Star Wars: The High Republic. We have been doing all of the High Republic novelizations, and so this is just another story within that universe of Star Wars, which is actually canon. So we are, just diving into the comics for that right now. So we will be getting into that. I will go ahead and say it here. I will reiterate it when we go live on Wednesday. But I unfortunately had some card maintenance, and so I was unable to purchase the Thrawn trilogy. So I will not be joining Katie with that review, but we may have a few surprises as of who her host might be to jump on that. So with that, on Thursday is, of course, the audio for Star Wars Alliance, and then Thursday nights is usually Marvel Alliance. This week there is not going to be a Marvel Alliance because they chickened out and they didn't want to talk about the Morbius trailer. So we're just going to do the Eternals review on Friday this week.
I just want to on record that I didn't take a shot at you guys. I know you guys came on our podcast last week to talk about the terrible Titans. So
I'm just saying,
I can understand
they forced us to watch they forced us to watch an entire season of Titans, and they can't take a few minutes to talk about the Morbius trailer. I'm just saying.
Hey, there's an Eternal review going live on Friday night, listeners.
Yes,
so don't listen to Clay slander.
Friday night, we are going to be talking about Eternals, which I am actually really excited about seeing.
Same.
There has been a lot of controversy with how that movie will perform when it is officially released. So I'm very, very interested to see how all that goes down. But then, of course, every other Saturday is Walk the Verse, walk through the multiverse with Joe, my co-host over at Ranger Alliance. And I am sure he's going to be talking about a very interesting story that was announced today with the workers of Image Comics. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah, that's kind of a earth-shattering.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Industry shattering is what I should have said there. Yeah.
Now, of course, we won't spill anything here. Go listen to that podcast, of course. But we just want to say this is a advertisement ad supported network, so you will be getting ads. We do not choose the ads. We don't choose how many times it repeats. If it does, we don't choose the volume of the ads. So we will give you a heads up before the ads come in. If you don't want to listen to those ads, of course, you can always join our Patreon. Of course, that is how we keep the Green Lanterns charged here at the Geek Ultimate Alliance. $1 just says thank you. $5 gives you that exclusive content. And of course, the early access to those shows. But also, I just want to remind everybody, it is holiday season. And this month, we are officially, we said this before, officially, we are, oh my gosh, my dog is just like barking up a storm. I am totally sorry. We are sponsored by Manscaped. Of course, 20% off if you use the code GUAPOD. And Christmas is right around the corner, guys. Go get your 4.0 lawnmower and give it to your dad, give it to your son, give it to your brother, your cousin, whatever. It works wonders. Go check it out. It is 20% off and free shipping. Go check that out. GUAPod at manscaped.com. That is everything. So,
Good job, sir. Good job.
whew, it's been a while since
You nailed it.
Since I've done it that long-winded. So all in the game, we will keep that talk for Marvel Alliance. This is DC Alliance here,
But we both agree we don't care about rotten. But I'm sure the general. I'll never forget my girlfriend coming in and saying, "We should go see this movie. It has an 87% Rotten Tomato score." And I was like, "Oh no, they got to you too."
Abby hasn't gotten there yet, but I have told her the drama that has gone around the Eternals. But I think the one thing that has gotten her a little bit excited to see the movie is the fact that, like, I'm in the dark just as much as she is, because Eternals is like a very like unknown team of individuals in the Marvel universe. So it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for that.
Kind of like our unknown team that we had a couple years ago of Doom Patrol that we're going to talk about. Not really. I tried to segue to that, but that was a very swing and a miss.
but yeah, do you want to go news first? Because I think news may take a little bit, it'll actually go by quickly.
Let's
and then
knock
we
out
can
the news, Clay. Let's get
Okay.
some of this BS news out of the way, unfortunately.
So it is a little BS, but some
Yeah.
of it is,
Some is good. Some is
some
good.
of it's
Yeah.
good. Let's on the more positive side. Let's go with a little bit more on the positive side. Very, very short, very to the point. Jenna Dewan will return as Lucy Lane in Superman and Lois for season 2. I'm actually really excited about this. She basically just disappeared after season 1 of Supergirl, when she was on there. So making her appearance here, I feel like that is really, really cool. Also, we didn't even put it in our notes, but there was a quote from Kara Danvers herself. Melissa Benoist said that she is not totally against putting on the suit again, just for the fact that, she's done with Supergirl. Because she said that she liked working with Grant, she liked working with Tyler. So if there is a good enough reason for her to don the suit again, she would come back to either show. So a little bit of Superman and Lois news, really, really fun. What do you think about this?
I was excited for the Lucy Lane stuff because it just ties into Supergirl. It's the same thing as me wanting John Cryer on there as Lex Luthor. So let's
Yes,
hope that
please.
this kind of leads towards that as well. It makes me think that, because if you're bringing over characters from Supergirl, it makes me think that they're the same. And it just ties Superman and Lois into the Arrowverse a bit more, which some people will not like, but I don't think the quality is going to suffer in that show, listeners. And as for Melissa Benoist, that's a given to me. Especially, you don't have to come to Vancouver for 4 months, for a month, you're just coming there for a week, maybe 2 weeks of time where you can go home on the weekend. This is not I'm doing this for 8 months and I get a couple months after and I got to do it for 8 months again, then 8 months again. This is a just coming back.
Well,
They will pay you for that.
I would be interested, because I know that even with vaccinations, I'm pretty sure they still are under COVID, like protocols and precautions.
Yeah.
So she may have to take a little bit longer if she were
Well, actually,
like
I'm pretty confident, Clay. You don't know there is that. You know, if you're fully vaccinated from United States, you can come to Canada and you do not have to self-isolate anymore. Yeah.
well, look at that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You
Okay.
got to
Learn
have
something new
proof
every
of vaccination, though. That is the
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Always
Like
keep that card on you,
we have a
people.
just little app on our phone that shows our proof of vaccination.
Jeez, why can't freaking the US do that? I had to go to freaking Office Max and get my vaccination card scanned and then resized to fit my wallet.
I want to say I want to prop up my healthcare, but they're currently being held ransom by a hacker who has their information, and the entire internet for the healthcare is shut down on the island, pretty much, or you can't access it.
Jesus.
So yeah, can't really give them too many props there. They picked the app, but I'm sure the government of Canada had a lot more to do with that. So yeah, fun fact about Newfoundland right now, listeners.
Awesome.
Being held ransom by a hacker.
Okay, so again, more positive news, kind of. I'm a little bit on the fence, but at least we're getting more information for a show that I'm really looking forward to. So, HBO Max's Val Zod Superman project, which is being produced by Michael B. Jordan, has hired Transformers Rise of the Beast writer Darnell Medier and Josh Peters to pen the script. So, Rise of the Beasts. I think that was the second to last Transformers movie within like the normal franchise, because of course they rebooted and they did Bumblebee. They're doing another one, and I think they're doing two more right now, actually. So I think Rise of the Beast was the second to last movie. I can't remember off the top of my head. Do you know, Travis?
You're asking the wrong dude here. I remember the first couple; they were fun. But
okay, see, and that's the thing is like that's why I said it's exciting because we're getting more information about the Val Zod show, but it's not so exciting because for the fact that it's these writers. Now, again,
Michael Bay is a very hands-on director, so let's not let's focus like you're doing this entire episode to start. Let's focus on the positive and hope that they, with Michael B. Jordan's help, can actually craft a good story.
I have big hopes for this show. I really, really do. So I'm crossing my fingers, but there is some hesitation. That's all I'm gonna say. All in the Game says, will they keep season 2 to 13 episodes like Stargirl for Superman and Lois?
And I don't think the first season was 15 or 16. So I don't see them going back.
That's true. For Superman and Lois, they did add that extra episode.
I see them keeping that level. I don't see them dropping anymore. Just for run ads in the game. It's not for any quality, unfortunately, because I would prefer them to be at 13 episodes. But just for the amount of ads they run at the CW and CWC, it's just money that you're just throwing away.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But before we go into more of our just nonsense stories, let's go ahead and take our first ad break, because I feel like these next two stories will have a little bit more of a conversation to go along with it. Of course, guys, we do not choose the ads. We do not choose how many times they repeat or the volume. So we will be back in just a few seconds. And we are back. So which one do you want to hit first? Darkseid or Black Manta?
Let's do Darkseid because Black Manta is kind of a bit more fun.
Okay, so
and let's go.
So DC's New Gods director Ava DuVernay has indicated that the movie was axed due to Zack Snyder's Justice League. They did not want to pursue a certain part of that comic world based on some things that were going on with another film, quote unquote, quote in quote. Sorry. So we have difference of opinion on this.
Yes,
I think that Ava is telling the truth because of the pettiness of WB. But you think? What do you think?
I don't think she's not telling the truth. I think that this is what she was told, but I don't think that 5 minutes in a 4-hour non-canon movie is the reason we're not getting a New Gods film that was supposed to feature heavily on Big Barda and Mr. Miracle. So that's why
I want to stop you right there because you think that WB has the confidence and the competency of knowing what the word canon means
No,
or the word multiverse.
they've told us that this is cul-de-sac, like it's its own thing. It's been said by the head of the DC for the time being, anyway. So I can't take that for anything other than he said Ray Fisher will not be in the Flash. I'm pretty confident Ray Fisher's not going to be in the Flash. So I kind of got to take him at face value when he says the Zack Snyder's Justice League is just, and they've done nothing but show me the same thing. They haven't said there's going to be any sequels. It hasn't said, they haven't said boo about it. So I can only trust that that's what they were talking about. But New Gods was announced in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, after Justice League, before Zack Snyder's Justice League was even a concept of what was going to happen. So they've had a long time. They've been working on this for quite a long time. So I have my doubts. I feel like that could be the reason even they told her to keep a working relationship with her. But I just don't. If it is the reason, then good luck. Good luck, DC, unless Discovery. Good luck, this DC, unless Discovery makes some big changes, because you have no idea what a multiverse means. You have but Clay, you have like 3 Batman going on. You have technically still two Superman, and you're developing another Superman movie on for HBO Max or series, and that series, sorry, and multitude of characters. You've gone through the multiverse, and you're saying you're going with the Flash to show 2 Flashes and a different kind of Supergirl. So I can't understand how seeing 5 minutes of a character who doesn't do anything except talk, just talk. We don't see him. Oh, sorry, in a flashback he fights, but he's not even actually Darkseid then. But we see him for all 5 minutes, and that's the reason we're not getting a New God movie that's supposed to focus on all kinds of different characters. And Darkseid's supposed to be like a fun little Easter egg in that movie. He's not supposed to be a big part of that movie. So of the New God story, he is a part of the New God story, but he's not the only part. So I don't know. I feel like that's an easy thing to say to somebody, and I believe they would say it because, like you said, they are pretty petty. We've seen a lot of stuff they did; they're petty as shit. But I just don't think that is the reasoning behind closed doors. If it is, I don't know how they make any profitable movies at all.
Well, Heinz, you know as well as I do that the only constant in the multiverse is that WB is shit. Let's just say
it is
that.
now, but 2012, flashback 2012, it was the Darling. It just put out The Dark Knight. It was super successful. It had his new Superman movie coming. So it's not that long ago that it was.
Well, it's currently
it's constant
shit.
now. You're right now. It's the big gaffes at the moment. But Clay, I really feel it hard. How do you rise to the rank of executive if you see 5 minutes of a film that you guys say is just on HBO Max and you're never going to see it again, and say that's the reason that you're not getting? I hope that they just said that to her,
because these guys
we don't
are
want
big.
you to go away. We want you.
These
to be
guys
Naomi.
are big man babies. Because here's the thing that you can always do, and I mean, is it right? No, but does it have question to it? Yes. You cancel both because we're gonna talk about both. You cancel a black director's movie and a Asians director movie. Like, these guys are idiots. These guys are idiots. Like, to the max. Like, there is nothing more to say about that. Is that there's no words to how stupid WB has become. And we talk about it all the time in our GUA chat. And listeners, guys, like, you can always throw it out because we throw it out ourselves. Other studios will probably have drama like this, and most likely do have drama like this, but WB wears it like a badge. For some reason, they are loud and proud about being this ignorant with probably one of the biggest IPs to exist. And they're just like, who cares? Don't know why, but it's just something that they do. Real quick, All in the Game asks, preferred episode count for Valzad limited series. I would say anywhere between
6 and 8.
6 to 8. That's what I was going to say as well. Anywhere between 6 and 8. I think that is a very nice, 6 to 8 is 2 months. That's 2 months that you have somebody held on a subscription. So
I
I
have
think,
something I gotta say too.
oh, what's up?
Whatever if he listens to the episode, S Bubs, you
Oh
won the
yeah,
drawing. I forgot to
yeah.
mention that
I
you won
have
the
it right here.
two.
Yeah. I have his
Yeah,
name written down. I completely forgot. S Bubs won the drawing last week for Earth One, Volume 1 and 2 of Teen Titans. So S
hardcovers.
Bubs,
S Bub, you DM Clay, or Clay will message you on Discord and get your address, and we'll send that out to you. It's coming from an island in Canada, so maybe a week or 2 or 10, but it'll get to you, sir. It'll get to you. It got to
yes,
Charlie. It got to Charlie. So
yes, it did. It did.
yeah.
Yeah, all in the game. 6 to 8 episodes, I think, is perfect. I think a 2 month show will have a lot of people talking for quite some time. Um, and I don't think it needs to be any longer than that, to be completely honest. Especially if you're like setting things up, you can have like that last episode to really do whatever. Um, but yeah, 6 episodes would for sure be the thing. Our last story of the night is Aquaman's scrapped spinoff, which would have focused on the trench, was really going to be a secret Black Manta movie revealed by James Wan. I don't know if he was doing a Q&A or if somebody just asked him about it just randomly and he decided to spill all the tea about it. But this was said on the same day as the announcement for Firefly, and it like while he did that, I guess the new suit for Forgotten Kingdom or whatever it's called um was on Fandom Day. But
Yeah.
all of that, those pictures were being shared along with this, and this one kind of hurts because I feel like yeah has gotten really big in the last few years. I feel like he is on every single time I turn on my TV.
He's so good too, though. He's
He
such a good actor.
he's gonna be on that new Michael Bay movie, Ambulance, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Got a good
So
cast.
I'm interested in seeing that one. But this hurts, man. Uh, to know that we could have possibly gotten more story of Black Manta, which, because it's James Wan, would have probably connect more to where he was going
Well, he could
to
have
be
Clay.
in this movie that we're about to get next year.
The first thing I thought was he could have been going into the trench area to find a weapon to fight Aquaman.
Yeah.
And that could have been how you featured the trench. How you had to battle and figure out the way to get through it all. So I I'm sad, but I also am one of those people that when the trench was announced, I was like, yeah, huh, I'll see it, but it's
I
not
was
something that I'm.
I will admit I was one of those people was like, hey, nobody's asked for this. Like, now I have kind of toned that down a little bit because there can be some prizes like this. All in the game says trench portion was the most interesting part of that long first movie for me. I don't know about that. I'm sorry.
I've really enjoyed a lot of good parts of
There's
that
a
movie.
lot of people that have Aquaman pretty low on their list, but man, Aquaman is just so good.
I'm not
It
one of them.
it, it is probably some of the most comic accurate as far as visuals. Um, God, seeing that suit for the very first time, whew, it was so like that final battle gave me goosebumps, like everything. It was so good. But that is it for the news. Very short segment there.
Not
Let's go
much
ahead.
news since the post week of fandom. You don't expect to get much,
Yeah,
but
no,
luckily,
not
listeners, we have a couple really well, one amazing episode and one good episode.
yes. So which one do you want to start with?
Amazing.
Okay, so amazing would be Doom Patrol, I'm
Correct,
assuming.
sir.
Okay.
Correct.
So Doom Patrol, this is episode
308 Subconscious Patrol.
so I watched this today.
Same.
Same as you. Um, not that I've been worn out by watching shows immediately, but it's just my schedule is getting more and more filled, and so I'm finding less and less spare time to watch these shows. Um,
Well,
but
Clay, just to back up you, I watched Stargirl on Wednesday morning. I had a test Wednesday afternoon. I had an assignment Thursday, and I had a test Friday, and then I had an assignment due today. And I had to go back and read a little bit to remember what everything in Stargirl because it was quite a while. So, like you said,
yeah,
it is good. It's just you play a dangerous game if you wait until the day of the podcast to watch the episode because you never know what might come up in life that might take your attention. That's what I was always worried about.
oh yeah, for sure. So in this episode of Doom Patrol, again, this show is wacky. It gets to places where you're not necessarily how it gets there, but when you're there, you usually have a good time. With this one, we are still dealing a lot with the what are they called? The
Data
Dada,
Patrol,
the
Da- the Sisterhood of Data.
yeah, the Sisterhood Dada, which is in the flashbacks where Rita is with all of her other members of the Sisterhood of Dada, along with Madame Rouge. And there's a lot of stuff going on with Madame Rouge as well. Now, this is very interesting because the overall narrative is the Sisterhood of Dada is actually going after Madame Rouge. But in order to get to her, they get to our Doom Patrol. And each one of our members go into a subconscious memory and themselves subconsciously actually come out to the real world. They switch places with these memories. Um, the memories themselves were kind of just like whatever, there was some moments. I feel like a lot of the Larry stuff is kind of regurgitated, with the acceptance of him being gay and what that means for his family and things like that.
But we didn't
Um,
see the burden that his mother placed on him and the stuff
yes,
with his
and that
mother
that
that
was
really
that was something really big.
that
I
adds an
will,
extra layer to it so that it
yeah,
doesn't, like you said, I thought first initially when he was there and he was just talking to him but not wanting to do it, the subconscious part of himself was talking to the real Larry. I thought, oh my god, are they just going to regurgitate this? And then when they brought his mother in, it completely switched the scene to
and
gut wrenching.
I will admit, I don't know if, because I'm always button heads with Snell, with the idea of like Snell never wants to see Wide Eyes Batman because you need to see human eyes to show emotion. I am always able to see emotion with Larry wrapped up like a mummy.
Yeah,
Like, it's just something that
body language.
it's something that I'm capable of seeing, and it's beautiful. Now, I love to see Matt Bomer's sexy face. He's a hell of a man. But, you know, we see Trainer go to what would be his wedding. And I love the interaction that his subconscious has, because I told you when right before we started recording that Larry has been through this kind of thing over and over and over again through season 1 and season 2.
Like you
So
said, just
like
another day in the life of
this is
Larry.
this is just another chapter in Larry's life. And so his subconscious literally looks at him and goes, "Why are you here? Like, you shouldn't be here. If you're trying to stop it, it's going to just keep repeating itself. So just leave." And Larry's like, "I don't know what I'm doing here. We'll wait and see." Um and then we see everybody else's subconscious. We see the flashback memory of Vic, of him as a kid wanting to have a black superhero toy.
Representation.
And this, I thought it was going to be one of those like in your face, like Saturday morning cartoon. Hey, we're going to talk about representation. But no, this was so much more. And it did involve his choices and what he has been trying to decide with, accepting yourself, which means a whole lot more to Vic because he is choosing to get the synthetic skin put onto him. So I did enjoy that, which I will be, holy shit, when you saw Vic. What's the actor's name? Jovan. I forgot his last name. Wade. When he was on that table at the end of the episode, holy shit, that dude is swole.
Over under, do you think he's Jack? Do you think he becomes Cyborg again by the end of the season?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he accepts who he is.
I think that he will accept who he is. We had that conversation last episode. We see Jane, which was hilarious to start off with. Then it got a little horrifying, and then it went from horrifying to heartbreaking at the very end of the episode. We'll get there when we get there. But her subconscious is really interesting because I never thought about this. Kay, grown up, looks exactly like Jane.
Yeah.
And that is why Jane is who she is, because that is who Kay is supposed to be. So that was very interesting. And then, of course, having freaking Brandon Fraser out,
warm my heart.
It was so good, dude. Having the back and forth, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? It was so good. It was so good. And they switched places.
I
now
think we just went over our allotted curse words in 2 seconds.
So the subconscious selves are in the real world, and there's this long explanation from Rita, which for a split second made me think, holy crap, is Rita the villain of this season?
You know what I thought, Clay? I didn't quite think that. I thought, how on earth are the rest of the Doom Patrol going to forgive you and let you back into this house when they find out what you've been doing? Because she told this to the subconscious self. The regular people, they're gone. Rita's not there when they come back. So
yeah,
it's like they don't know. I don't know. They don't know the half of what's true.
But like, you also have to play along with the idea of like, because it's their subconscious, they technically know.
Oh, well, if that's the case, we should find out that. Actually, no, that's true because Jane goes to visit because of what happened in subconscious. So yeah, that they all remember what happened. So you're right.
Yeah. So the whole point of this scenario, Rita says, is you have to air out your grievances so that way the world within itself is a utopia. And I'm like, I think you have to do more work than that, but it's a good start. And they all refuse to talk. Like, especially freaking Cliff.
And you see why.
Dude, holy crap, man. The whole time, Cliff is just like, we're not going to say shit. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to enjoy life. And we're just going to wait until this whole thing is over. And then I can just be in my freaking dreamland, whatever. And Larry, he's the trainer. He's like, no, like, I've been through this before. Like, we have to accept where we're at. Yes. But we also have to talk this crap out.
And that goes even further because Larry's the only one of the four when they're in their subconscious that actually, like, he grabs his mother, says stuff to his mother that he did not say.
Yeah, he tells, because at the end of the episode, they meet their subconscious selves again to kind of talk it out and like learn what each other has.
Well, just to rewind just a tiny bit, Cliff figures out what the memory actually is and immediately takes off, and that's what causes. He goes to Larry after Larry makes his acceptance with his mother. He goes to Larry.
So everybody recognizes it as a memory. Jane is the only one that's not a memory. And then when Cliff, he finds out, okay, this is a memory, but what memory is it? So he goes in, he's having the time of his life, he's partying, he's dancing with strippers, whatever. And the stripper says, hey, I got something to tell you, whispers in his ear, there's a baby in the back of the car, inside your car. And he immediately remembers. He's like, I'm out of here.
Well, she doesn't say your car. She said, I don't know who you are. I just got to tell you, there's a baby in the back seat of that car out front. So she doesn't even know that it's his.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, I'm not living through this again. and like a portal opens up. He jumps through it. He ends up in Trainer's subconscious. He's like, dude, let's get the hell out of here. Blah, blah. He's like, well, how do we do that? Jump through this. Follow me. And they go, and that's when they see Vic.
Jane.
No, they
Vic
see
first.
Vic
Yeah.
first, and then they go get Jane. And then they all come to their subconscious. They all
I love
meet up.
how I just got to mention. I love how Cliff is like, "Which one's Jane?" And she's like,
And she just like cusses at him. He's like,
Yeah.
ah, there you are.
"That's her." He's like, "Oh, look, you're like a little baby."
But there's a little hint right before they jump through the portal. You hear some of the other puppets, because that's what they are. They're puppets. They talk to each other, and they're like, I can't believe we just let Jane do that all over again. And the counselor lady, the therapist, says, no, not again. Not ever again. And I was like, okay, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, I was curious about
So
that as well.
they are in this whole, I think it's like a blanket and pillow fort.
Yeah.
And they all start talking to each other. Trainer has his heart to heart with himself, kind of learning like, hey, I finally talked to mom and I said those things. I flipped the script. I said that all the things that you were never able to say on that day. And it's really heartwarming. It's really nice. And then we get to Cliff. And this is where you learn the problems that Cliff has had his entire life, not just the matter of what we've seen on Doom Patrol, but his
He
entire
aired
life.
all his grievances.
Yeah. And the fact is that like he is selfish. Like, to be completely honest, he is a selfish human being. He saw that fatherhood basically was like, that makes me unimportant. The only important person in fatherhood is the child, and it's not me. So I don't want anything to do with it. The only way that he feels anything is when he feels special, and when he, does blow and he does all these drugs and get drunk. That is the only time he feels like he's special, because everybody draws attention to him. When he's, racing cars, people love him because he's able to win and all of these other things. And it is rough.
Yeah.
Like, it is super rough. And I was getting a little like choked up on that. But the next one hit me harder than anything. Well, the next two with Vic and with Jane. With Vic, it's more of like, hey, because the big thing with the subconscious is when they were finally opening up to talk about things, it came to the fact that like, hey, fatherhood is bullshit, and here's the reasons why. And that's why, like, Cliff was very much like, yeah, fatherhood is bullshit, but let's stop talking about it, because he didn't want to remember all the shit that he went through.
Yeah.
But with what was his name? Captain, I can't remember the toy's name.
Oh, the toy. Yeah, General something is his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he his subconscious was a toy. And they were talking to each other, and it pretty much came to the fact that like, you don't have to follow in your
General
father.
Tony. General Tony.
Tony, yeah. So General Tony was telling him like, you don't need to be following your dad's footsteps. You are your own person. You can do whatever you want. Blah blah blah. You needed to live your life, because that was the big thing with his.
He lost his childhood.
He lost his childhood.
After that moment, he decided that he was never going to put himself in an opportunity where someone might get mad at him, or he perceived
exactly.
something wrong.
And like the biggest line, and the one line that I loved from Jovan this episode was, I didn't need an army toy. I didn't need a soldier, because like that subconsciously like just got him to the idea of like, oh, I'm a soldier as well. I'll just listen to whoever barks commands at me, and blah blah blah. It really messed him up like growing up. So like, and we see an excellent performance by him as well during all that, shedding all the tears. Really, really great. But the one that had me like, I had to pause it for a while was Jane. Jane's conversation with Kay was rough.
Essentially, essentially she's the one that makes messes, and she's the one that screws everything up. And
Yeah.
Kay wants to try by herself, and she does not handle that well.
Well, not only that, it's for the fact that like we have seen this kind of build up. We've seen this every single time she goes to the underground. This narrative that Jane is very dangerous for Kay keeps coming up. And so when we finally hit that confrontation, the one thing that is so heartbreaking, Kay straight up tells Jane, I wish you were dead. Now, Kay is the actual individual. She is the prime individual. When she said that, the camera started to pan and started to go behind Kay. I thought it was going to go around Kay and Jane would disappear.
I was thinking
That
Jane might disappear as well when she started freaking out. When she came out of the fort, I thought we were going to see Kay.
I was really scared that like we are not going to have Jane anymore. Um but as soon as it went behind Kay, the camera, Kay disappeared and you just see a now human Jane, because she was a puppet that entire time. Uh, she is heartbroken. She is torn. She screams. She's grabbing onto her chest. She's throwing her arms. She's pulling everything down. It was hard to watch. To know that, like, from what we have seen in the underground, there is a huge like connecting force to be like, hey, we as an individual person cannot function unless we are all working together. Um, and
No more working together.
Jane is the unfortunately, and fortunately, because it is her duty to protect Kay, is the punching bag. She's the one that has to go to the above, and she's the one that has to live through life, and she's the one that has to do all this
No,
stuff.
no, there are points that Kay makes in terms of like, and the other personalities that Jane makes a miss a lot of the time. Like she makes a lot of the problems for a lot of them as well to deal with.
Yes,
So, uh,
but then you also have to just like we're gonna get real here. Life sucks. Like life is not always great, and I think Jane is living life as a normal human being that you know is just struggling through life, and that I think is a very important message. Um, and when she got out of um the whole fort, they're like, okay, is it done? And then they all disappear, and it leads them exactly where they were at the very beginning of this episode.
which
And
sucks for Cliff.
for real, as soon as he shows up, his daughter is there, and she's like, "Hey, this isn't working out." And he's like, "I know," because he's finally made the realization. He's finally coming to terms with things. So that story is going to be very interesting. Larry goes and finds his parasite that he left in the woods, which is weird.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't. Yeah,
Cyborg woke up not Cyborg,
which was
um,
pretty crazy.
which
And
was
Jane walked to the underground with nobody there, which was the one
nobody's
that was
there, and
most messed up.
Kay was there, and she told her nobody's here.
They're
Like
all gone.
that is interesting. Um, I want to know where they went. Did they all commit mass suicide?
We know that the underground's a big place too, though, so they could be hiding out somewhere down there.
True. But just leaving Jane to herself is
Rough,
rough.
Clay.
Is very rough indeed. But let's go ahead and take our last ad break before we jump to Stargirl.
Such a great episode of
Yes,
Doom
very, very
Patrol. I
good.
can't wait. We have 2 episodes left as well for that.
Yes. But let's go ahead and take that ad break right now, and we will be back in just a second. All right, and we are back. So, Stargirl. We are out of the Shadowlands. We follow almost everybody in this episode, which was nice. No appearance of Thunderbolt, although he is mentioned a whole lot. I do like the kid that is now in control of Thunderbolt. Man, I'm sorry. I just had to get this out of the way. Why put the CGI burger in there? It took me out. It took me out of the show for just a split second. I was just like,
I don't know
you-
why, Clay. Like
there's
that
so
was
many
just-
other things you could have done. Like,
Yeah.
why do that? So there's that. But let's talk about some of the big highlights here. Courtney confronts Yolanda
Yeah.
about coming back. Courtney, I'm sorry, you do not know how to talk to your teammates. Because still, the idea that she thinks it's okay now, hey, you're not the only person that's killed, that is not a great talking point.
No, that's but now in her defense, I don't know many 16, 15-year-olds that will are pretty
Have murdered
good
anybody?
or have murder advice or murder expertise. So
Exactly.
I
But
don't
like
see her
the
doing
the
this. I
fact
don't
that
see
she was
Beth or Rick doing any better of a job, and they didn't. They all tried, and
true.
so
And like the big thing with her though was like, oh, but you don't have to worry. Like the old JSA killed too, and like Wildcat was the one that did it. And then Yolanda's like, that makes it even worse. Like, why would I ever want to be Wildcat if I know that like the Wildcat name is just set on being a murderer?
yeah, I'm gonna
Like,
go around murdering people.
it not the greatest conversation piece there. Um, so Jade, I was totally wrong on the idea of her probably meeting her brother in that second location, where there was residue of shadows. It was in fact Eclipso. As soon as it happened, I kind of predicted, oh, she's gonna be manifesting Eclipso instead of this little kid. I do think Jade will be the Eclipso of like either next episode or the finale. So,
I just
oh,
sat
I
in that
guess the
corner
next
right for
episode
a
is the
bit.
finale.
I think that we got hinted that it might be Courtney being.
Oh,
and
well,
we,
yeah,
and, you know, I would also back that up, Clay. Before she got out of the shadow world, she told Mephisto, Mephisto. Oh my God, she told Eclipso.
Mephisto confirmed.
Yes, it's going for me. She told him that I hate you, the little boy. He said, say it, say it. She said, I hate you. So that kind of backs up what we might see of her as the.
Well, the big thing with the conversation between Eclipso, Beth, and Midnighter, Eclipso kind of had his like evil monologue, and he was like, the only thing that I want is Courtney. Like he said that, and that's when you saw the vision or whatever you want to call it from Jade, where we see a Eclipso possessed Courtney.
Having taken out everybody.
I don't want that to be the finale. I will be completely honest.
I don't see it being. I see her being brought back with all her family and friends, and like I can see them bringing her back from that position.
Speaking of family, I will go ahead and say the one thing that I did not like about this episode. Vin Diesel. No, I'm joking.
I was going to say the same thing. You stole it.
No, it was Pat. They completely flipped the script on his character, and I did not like it. He goes into the hospital room of Rick's uncle and was like, hey, let me just say, I think Rick is a very good person and you need to drop the charges. And the guy writes, go to hell. And then, like a flip of a switch, Pat is like, oh, I'm a bad person too. And he like closes the blinds. And the next thing you see is Rick coming out of jail. And he's like, oh, my uncle dropped the charges? Why? And he's like, well, I don't know. Like,
guess you're lucky.
You can't tell me this entire season that like Pat was this individual that was voting against murdering people. Like his dark secret was that somebody killed somebody else. Like, yes, that is dark, but that doesn't make him evil.
Now, in our chat, I wrote that after I watched this, I didn't like 2 twist, and that was the twist, Clay. But I was talking to Chris Balga from Marvel Alliance, and he said that I must have missed it in a previous episode. Pat tells Starman something along the lines of I used to be a bad guy. So I missed that,
I
but
must have missed that one.
I don't think that consonnates I torture people. But that's where we are. I didn't like that as well. I thought that you spent 20 something episodes or almost 30 episodes telling me how nice Pat is as a person, and now you
Yeah,
tell me
like
he's going to
it
torture a
doesn't
guy.
matter if you have a dark past. Like for somebody who has had like well, scratch that. You can't tell me that like you said, developing this character from what we have seen, the audience, as this person that has always been a hero, that always votes for the good in people, and then has decided, yeah, I'm going to torture you. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry.
No.
Did not rub me the right way. Even if he did have a dark past, he has clearly made do with what his past was and is now in a better lifestyle. So there is no reason to go back to that kind of living or that way of acting at all. And if you're going to tell me after this, oh, he has a little bit of Eclipso in him, like that is, I'm sorry, you that is just like, oh, we're trying to get away with it kind of thing.
I
And
don't see that
it didn't
happening.
work with me.
I just see that as being that was just a mistake, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But other than that, I think that's really it. Those were the
Yeah,
big points in this episode.
Rick is trying to figure out the formula now. Mike finds Jakeem, and he's going to bring him into the fold. I think that's about it. And
Yeah, there was the small joke of like, hey, before we save the world, can you help me with the dishes? Like,
yeah, that went
th-
on a little too long. It was funny,
like,
but it went on a little too long.
there's just moments of like, I guess more so for us to know who this character is before the big fight in the finale. But if that's the case, you've taken too long to bring this person in. You know, I because they spent a good amount of time letting the audience know what kind of person this individual is, which is good. But if you're gonna use him as like a last minute, like, hey, he's actually the person that's gonna save the day, um, I just feel like we probably could have waited until next season to get more of him.
I
You
will
know,
tell you who will probably save the day and who I really enjoyed in this episode that we didn't talk about before we clued us up. Sydney thought she was great. She had some moments where you could see her even watching Courtney and her mom be like mother
she was
daughter, and she
creepy. She was creepy this episode.
no, well, some parts yes, Clay, but you see her looking at her like she killed her mother accidentally. She did not mean to kill her, and then to watch Courtney and her mother had such a great relationship, you could see how tough that was. And also, she's saying that she got Yolanda there just for to help her cause of killing Eclipso. But who knows? She could have a little bit of redemption in killing Eclipso and sacrificing herself. That could have happened. I thought there were creepy moments, but for the most part, she worked for me this episode a lot more than she normally does.
But again, like, there's just like, why would it's weird because Yolanda is like dead set on not being Wildcat again, but the only reason why she wants to be Wildcat is to protect her friends. But she already knew her friends were in super danger with Eclipso and
Well,
everything. Like
they just no. She thinks that Sydney is going to double cross him and kill them, and that's why. That's not. She knew about the Eclipso thing. She also thinks like I assume she thinks they can handle it, but after they handle it, it's prime to be stabbed in the back. And I just assume she even says that I'm not going to let you do that. So, and if it makes sense, we'll
it's
see. Maybe
it's
I
thin.
don't.
It's thin. I want a lot more from Yolanda's character.
Oh yeah, but
I've really missed her throughout the season, so I want more from her.
it does reinforce that Sydney is not a good character, and like the audience is not supposed to trust Sydney, so that might give her redemption a bit more impact. I don't know that maybe
Maybe
that's what they're going for. I don't know if it'll work. We'll have to see the end, but this was a good episode, but not. As I felt the past few weeks were a lot
better.
stronger
Yeah,
than
yeah,
this
yeah,
week. Yeah.
for sure. But I believe
That is
That
it,
is
sir.
it. That
Yes.
is the episode. We were able to keep this just over 1 hour. We were joking about how we always somehow get to 2 hours on these things. But great for keeping it short. Thank you guys who are here in chat for listening and watching. Of course, like we said in the very beginning of the episode, Geekverse YouTube channel. Press subscribe. There's going to be a charity stream November 6th. That is Saturday, 24 hours. I can't remember the time slot for the trivia battle, but I know Geekverse has.
Your leader, Rangers. Your leader. Tommy, when are we going in battle? I don't know, guys.
Tommy was a horrible leader. We all
Zordon
know it.
sent me a flyer last week, but I'll find it
Hey,
and let you guys know.
all I know is that I show up and I win. That's that's all I know. But Geekverse has a schedule up on their Twitter account, I do believe. So go check them out. But this week, like we said again, Eternals. I will be on the review on Friday. So come hang out. And we will see you then.
And if you didn't miss it, if you missed it at the start of the show, congrats. Well, special thanks to Scott for showing up on the stream.
Yes, that was great.
Wearing the Ranger mask, and he is part of the team, the Rangers team, along with Scott bringing some news of his own. Tim is joining the team as well, so that's going to be the teams are. I think they're fully selected now. I don't see any surprises coming, and the hosts are set. So this is going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. All the pressure's off me. I don't have to answer any questions, so I could not be more happy. Gonna have a extra jump in my step when I'm doing these.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. But with that, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Later,
See you
everyone.
later.